Welcome back to the channel. Is this too dark? Too bright? I brought my light in here. Let's see, is that too bright? Something like that? Okay, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be a fun one. We're gonna go over 10 of my, what am I calling this? It's not just habits. We're gonna talk about just like the 10 most important things that I would say completely changed my life. So implementing these things, whether it is a habit or whether it's a mindset shift or whether it's just some good old fashioned great advice, it's gonna fall under this category of let's make your life better by implementing these things. A couple years ago, I uploaded this video right here, the 6 months to change your life video. I know it reached millions of people, and a lot of new subscribers have requested more videos like that. So this is going to be, it's not necessarily for weight loss, right? But overall improving your life. And that's what we want to talk about today. The first thing I have to talk about, because this is the thing that's changed my life the most, is Jesus. You got a good relationship with Jesus, then you're gonna be just fine. I would say that I have definitely felt a shift in my relationship with Jesus over the years, and it's really been, I feel like I have more of a relationship with him where it's not just I say a morning prayer or an evening prayer and that's kind of it. I am pretty much praying all throughout the day. If a thought comes to my mind, I'm asking the Lord for some help, or I'm asking for some guidance, or I do my prayer walks where I go on walks, and I'm going to talk about this in just a minute too. I'll go into more detail. But just having a relationship with the Lord will completely change your life. If that is something that's lacking in your life, let's start there. Let's start with the Lord, because we are first a soul, and then we are our body, and then we are our mind, and we are everything else. But you got to be fueling your soul, and it starts with that relationship. So getting the word in, saying your prayers, having that relationship is going to completely change your life. To me, that's the most important one. So we had to start with Jesus. I'm gonna have to beat this into you guys, because I think some of you aren't listening to me when I give this advice. You listen, but you're not actually doing the thing. And that is, are you going on walks? Are you actually going on walks? What are we doing if we're not going on walks? Like, be honest with yourself, because this could change your flippin' life, okay? If you're in a bad mood, go on a walk. If you're sad, go on a walk. If you need some energy in your day, go on a walk. I do believe that walks will change your life. In fact, if you are not busy right this minute, if you have 5 minutes, I want you to go on a walk for 5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes back, and I want you to come back and report in the comment section. How much better do you feel? I want to hear it. Somebody has to do this, okay? Go on a walk, come back and report, and I will pin your comment to the top. I want to know how you felt before you went on your walk, and then after, and even if it was 5 minutes long, I want to hear it, and I will pin your comment. So you will solve so many problems by just going on a walk every single day. I have done it for 300 days. I go on walks every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, and it will change your life. Now, I did mention a minute ago, prayer walks. So what's a prayer walk? This is when I go on a walk with no headphones. We're not listening to music. We're not listening to a podcast. We are literally walking, and we're imagining that we are walking beside Jesus, and we are thinking of questions and just like tuning in. Like, you're really focused on these questions or these thoughts, and what would his response be? Ooh, these can change your life. If you have never done a prayer walk, that's another thing. Try that today. Sometimes I'll pull out my phone because I will be getting those rapid fire ideas, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna forget all this, so I gotta hurry and jot it down. So that'll level up your walking experience. Number 3 is journaling. How many of us are actually journaling every day? What I like to do, and what has completely changed my life, is I like to start my morning with my little morning routine with my journal, and I will write out my intentions for the day. And this really helps keep me on track for the day, so I don't get so distracted. It's way more easy to be distracted and like sit and numb yourself and just doom scroll if you don't really have an intention set for the day. So that's something I actually want to ask you right now. When you woke up this morning, or maybe it's middle of the day by this point that you're watching this video, did you have an intention for the day? And if you didn't, what has kind of happened in the day? I have just noticed it's kind of like goal setting. If you don't set a goal, there's no mark for you to hit, right? So we can really get distracted in our days if we're not being intentional. We don't really have intentions or goals for the day. By the end of the night, we're going to kind of be like, what even like happened? Where did the day go? What even happened today? I kind of spent 8 hours on my phone scrolling. To avoid that, we need to start with the intentions. And then something else I like to do is I start that in the morning, and then I come back at night and I will journal the end part of my day. 2 things I like to write down in my evening journal session is if I achieved the goal I set out to do. So if I did stick to my intentions. But another thing I like to report back on is what I learned that day. And this really helps keep me focused on that learning mindset. So I like to try to listen to some kind of podcast or some kind of audiobook, or I'll actually read a couple chapters out of a book, something that's going to develop me, something that's going to make me learn. I want to learn something every single day. So that is one thing that I will write down every night is what I learned that day. And again, this just really helps keep me focused on living intentionally. The 4th one is protect your mental diet. We often pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies when it comes to food, but we do not really pay much attention to what we're putting into our minds. So if your mental diet is lacking, okay, think of it the same way as we do with our physical body. So we are seeking out nutritious things. Think of your brain in the same way. You're consuming things that are going to uplift you, inspire you, encourage you, motivate you. Are you doing those things? Because again, if you're not, it's going to show up kind of everywhere in your life. Everything really starts here. What we're thinking about, we're projecting, we're creating, we're always doing those things. So if you are not consuming the adequate nutrition for your brain, it's gonna show up in other ways in your life. Hey, listen, I love me a good bed rot. I love me a good doom scroll, but you need to be honest with yourself. How much time are you spending on your phone? I actually challenge you right now, pause this video and go and check your hours spent on your phone. How much time are you doom scrolling a day? I've seen these really, really awful statistics. It's like, oh, if you spend this many hours a day, you're gonna end up spending 45 years of your life on your phone. I beg your finest pardon. What is it that you're consuming though? What are you actually consuming? While we're kind of on this topic of doom scrolling, let's bookend our day. So the start of our day and the end of our day without our phones. How much different would your life look if for the last 30 minutes of the day you set your phone down? So like crawling into bed, you weren't just scrolling, because it's so easy to do. And the first thing when you got up, if you didn't jump on your phone, because that's really gonna set the tone for the day. Years ago, I've shared this before, but we're gonna share it again. Years ago, I was going through something in my life. I was saying one of them desperate prayers about what I needed to do, and my response that I got, that I felt like the Lord put on my heart, was pay attention as you scroll on your phone. I was like, what the heck? This has nothing to do with what I just prayed for. So when you get a download like that, or you get a random thought, I pay attention. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna scroll for a little bit and I'm gonna pay attention to how I feel. So I did. I got on my phone. I was just scrolling like my typical daily scroll. And I noticed within a 5-minute period, I went from feeling like super like, oh, happy, then kind of sad, then a little bit angry because there was a post that I read that kind of fired me up a little bit. And then I literally felt every emotion in a 5-minute period. That's the danger of social media, is when we're just doom scrolling, we're not protecting our peace because we have no idea what we're gonna come across. It's really just the luck of the draw. You just have no idea what you're going to be shown. Why do we do that to ourselves? Every day, all day. And then we wonder why we have so much anxiety, and we do have full control over what we consume. So just pay attention to that. Start your day without your phone, end your day without your phone. And then while we're talking about diets, let's talk about an actual diet. So I have done macros. I have done low carb, I have done keto. I've done a lot of different types of diets, I would say, in my lifetime. What I have stuck with the longest, I would say it's either between macros, and I'm not really even doing macros lately. What I have been focusing on is just every meal, I focus hard on protein, trying to get 30 grams of protein in a meal. I know if I can do that, it's gonna help my appetite. It's helping me build muscle and keep muscle as I'm doing workouts in the day. And I just feel so much better. So focusing on protein is really what I have been doing. What works for you is not necessarily gonna work for me. What works for me is not necessarily gonna work for you. So my biggest suggestion is to just try different things. What can you actually be consistent with? Because whatever it is you can be consistent with, that's gonna make the most change. So if you've been struggling like, oh, I've been trying to do like low carb and I just can't do it. Maybe low carb isn't for you. It's just the consistency. It's not the short, what can you do for 20 days? Anybody can do something for 20 days, but what can you do long term? And whatever that is, that's my recommendation. Go with that. And kind of piggybacking off of that, my next tip is to move your body every single day. What are you doing to move your body every single day? I want to just say, this actually is kind of random that today I sat down to do this video, because today on my watch, I have an Apple Watch, I hit 300 days of consistency of closing my rings. If you don't have an Apple Watch or you're unfamiliar with that, so closing your rings, there's 3 different rings. There's one of them is your move ring, so how many calories you burn every day. The next one is your workout, and the next one is standing, which I wish you could change that goal to something else, but it's a matter of how many times a day you like stood up. So they have that goal set too. Anyway, when I started this was actually back in February. It was sometime in February that I'm like, you know what? I think I did it for like a week straight, and I'm like, well, now that I've done it for 7 days, I want to keep going. And then I just kind of never stopped. So it wasn't like I set out to like, I'm gonna do it for a year. It was a small little goal, like, well, I've done it for a week, so I should like, what if I could do it for 2 weeks? What if I could do it for a whole month? When I saw that first month done, I was like, oh my gosh. Well, now that I've done it for a month, I got it like, what if I could do it for 2 months? So that's kind of how this whole thing started this year. But there's a couple things I want to share when it comes to moving, because you have to find something that you will be consistent with. What do you like to do? Because some people love Pilates and yoga, and like that is their thing. Some people love CrossFit. My mom, when she retired, she decided to go to CrossFit for the first time. She was like, if I would have known how hard it was gonna be, I don't think I would have ever shown up and done it for the first time. But I signed myself up for a class, kind of blindly going in. It was hard, but I loved it. And my mom has been doing CrossFit for years now. It's like part of her daily thing. She was 65 before she ever tried CrossFit. Find something that you love and just try everything on. Try all of the different things. Go to the gym. If you don't love it, it's not for you. Maybe it's walks. It doesn't have to be this crazy strenuous thing. I personally love to just work out at home. I do like a couple minute workout. It's not crazy, but I do lift weights every day and I go on my walks. And that is it. I'm burning the calories I need every day and I'm getting movement in. And that is why I've been consistent, because I can stick with that and I enjoy it. I actually look forward to doing both of those things every day. This tip is a little bit different. If you implement this, it's gonna make your life so much fun. And that is elevating the ordinary tasks in the day. So another way to phrase that is romanticize your life. That might be a phrase you've heard before. So I really started implementing this when I became single, because I think oftentimes in relationships, we expect our partner to create special moments for us when we're fully capable of making those mundane moments special. Why are we not doing that every day? Here's a couple things I love to do that really just help me love those little mundane moments that are typically boring. Like, for example, making dinner, okay? Something we have to do every day. I always have music playing, a candle going, and it makes the whole experience fun. So my kids always know mom has her music on and my candle's going, because I just love the vibe. I love the vibe of good music and a candle and food being made. So it just makes it a fun experience. Every single night I take a bath, which maybe that's not for everybody, but I hate the bright lights in my bathroom. So I have my lights off and I light candles, and it makes the experience more fun. I have music playing, I have my candles on, and I have usually like a Fresca or some kind of drink there. And I'm like, this is just, I'm living my best life. I am literally living my best life, taking my, looks like a very romantic setting, and it's just me, but I love it. I love it so much. I take myself on mini dates all the time because who else is gonna? If I ever don't have my kids, I will go window shopping, sometimes actual shopping. I will go get myself a yummy drink. I will go on drives and just jam out so hard to music. Anything that just brings joy to my life, I make sure to do almost on a daily basis. I do go on drives almost every single day. I give myself an excuse to leave the house and to just listen to music and drive around. Sometimes that's the highlight of my whole entire day. Maybe you love to make yourself drinks at home. Okay, do you have any special mugs or cups that you never use because they're special? Why aren't you using that? Just make your drink in the special mug. You know, I always heard the phrase, well, we're saving it for the Pope. We're, you know, the special occasion that like this one time somebody special might be coming over. Do it for yourself. What are we waiting for? But if we're not making those little moments special for ourselves, who else is gonna? There's a tip for you. If you're not doing it, let's romanticize our lives. My last tip or word of advice is to pay attention, close attention to where your focus is on a daily basis. If you are faced with a problem and that is where your focus is, okay, I had a problem today and I called my friend and was like, I'm dealing with this problem. She's like, what are you gonna do about it? And I was like, I know what I could do is I could sit here and I could focus on that. And I know the outcome will be me spiraling and it's gonna be negative. And when my kids get home from school, I'm gonna be projecting that onto them. I'm gonna be in a bad mood and then it's gonna kind of make them in a bad mood. So that could be my outcome because I already know, I know myself and I know if I focus and spiral, this is what happens. Or I can be productive. And I had this video that I knew that I needed to create. And I was like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm going to make my video. I'm gonna get to work. I am going to focus on only consuming good, positive things, and I'm gonna have a great day. I know I have the power to change my day. And if I can change my day, it changes my week. And if I can change my week, it changes my month. Before you know it, your entire life is different and it's better. And it all starts with this. I know I've touched on it a couple times, but what are you doing? What are we focusing on? What are we consuming? What are we listening to? Sometimes it's okay to just have a day. Notice when you need to pull yourself out of that. And what are you doing to do that? Because we're in the driver's seat of our life. You can't always control what happens to you. In fact, we don't really have that control. But we can control what we consume and what we give our attention to. So my advice is to just choose something that's going to uplift you. And it can be something so small. But the more you do that, and the more you practice this, you will recognize, oh, I'm kind of spiraling and I need to just change my focus and really watch what happens. You can completely change the trajectory of your life by doing these small and simple things. So I hope today's video was helpful. I have a couple more videos up my sleeve that I want to upload before Christmas. I don't know if I would call this Vlogmas because I'm not doing every day. I don't got time for that. I don't know how people do that, but I do have, maybe I could do something more like the 12 days of Christmas, but we're gonna count the other, I've already done like 4, so something like that. I got plenty of things that I have up my sleeve that I wanna share with you guys. So thank you for watching. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, make sure to do that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.